The I waited for offline metrics answer sounds rigorous and disciplined, but it fails the bar raiser every time. Most candidates mistake thoroughness for move fast, and that single misread gets them screened out of Meta MLE loops before they even know what happened. The question is, tell me about a time you shipped a model improvement or ML feature under ambiguity rather than waiting for perfect offline evaluation. Move fast at Meta means having a bias for action in production ML decisions, not shipping carelessly, but not letting perfect offline evaluation block real-world learning either. What the bar raiser is actually listening for is whether you can define a structured launch threshold under uncertainty, set online guardrails, and pull the trigger, rather than hiding behind more ablations. Here is how most candidates answer this question about shipping under ambiguity, and it sounds reasonable on the surface.
We were working on a new engagement feature for our feed ranking model. Offline AUC looked promising, but we only had 2 weeks of training data, so the signal was noisy. I pushed to run a small holdout experiment to gather more signal before committing to a full A/B test. Once we had 4 weeks of data, AUC stabilized, and we felt confident enough to launch the A/B. The test ran for 2 weeks. We saw a 2% CTR lift, and we shipped it. The whole cycle probably took 6 weeks.
Candidate initiated a holdout to delay launch. Risk aversion pattern. No launch threshold defined up front. Confidence was subjective. 6-week cycle with no online guardrails described. Passive approach. Impact framing is outcome received, not decision owned. Here is what I am writing in the debrief right now. Item 1. Candidate added a holdout phase to gather more data before A/B delay was self-imposed, not system required. Item 2. No predefined launch threshold stated. Felt confident is not a decision framework. Item 3. 6-week cycle, described without mention of online guardrails, kill switches, or partial rollout. Item 4. Candidate received the outcome rather than driving the ship-no-ship decision with explicit criteria. Verdict. Does not demonstrate move fast. Same question, same uncertainty about offline signal. Listen to how this candidate frames the decision.
Our Reels re-ranking model showed a 1.8-point NDCG improvement offline, but we only had 3 weeks of label data after a label pipeline change. Not enough to be certain. Rather than waiting, I defined explicit guardrails up front. A 1% engagement floor, and a P99 latency budget of 120 milliseconds. I launched a 5% holdout A/B with automated rollback wired to those thresholds. Within 72 hours, we had directional signal. Engagement up 3.1%. Latency clean. So I escalated to 50% traffic and shipped full that week. Total cycle, 9 days.
Candidate defined numeric launch thresholds before shipping, structured risk-taking. Automated rollback on guardrails shows production ownership, not cowboy deployment. Staged rollout at 5%, then 50% demonstrates deliberate ambiguity management. 9-day cycle with quantified online impact. Move fast with evidence. Notice what changed. It is not the speed, it is the structure behind the speed. Item 1. Candidate defined explicit numeric guardrails, engagement floor and latency budget before launch. Item 2. Automated rollback wired to guardrails demonstrates production ownership and structured risk management. Item 3. Staged rollout at 5%, then 50% shows deliberate ambiguity management, not reckless shipping. Item 4. 9-day cycle with 3.1% online engagement lift quantifies move fast with measurable business impact. Verdict, strong signal, raises the bar. Before your loop, run your story through these 3 questions. Question 1. Did you define a numeric launch threshold before you started the experiment? If the answer is no, you described waiting for a feeling, not a decision framework. Question 2. Did your story include an automated guardrail or staged rollout mechanism? Without one, the bar raiser reads cowboy deployment, not structured risk-taking. Question 3. Can you state the online metric result and the total time to ship? If you cannot quantify both, your story lacks the impact evidence Move Fast requires. If you fail all three, your story is not a Move Fast story. It is a I waited until I felt safe story, and that is the exact anti-pattern Meta screens out. How do your real stories score? Get a personalized report scored against the interview rubric Meta uses for MLE roles, including Move Fast, production ownership, and cross-functional impact. Head to interview101.com and find out where you stand before your loop.